All right, welcome. We're going to just dive right in. So, if you are new around here, I create watercoloring books. So, I do all the outlines myself and then I help you paint them. So, instead of taking the time to take you through all of these, we're just going to get started. But definitely check it out. I'll have the link in my bio and maybe I'll even like put a little promo for it if I can make one. But last video we did the florals, and these are so cute, and I hope you love yours. But the second to last page is the one we're doing today, and that's practice greenery. So if you have your books, pull it out, get this page out, and let's get going. So I hope everyone's having a good day. My mother-in-law took the kids for me, and it's been very nice to be able to just focus on this and spend time doing things I love. I love my kids, but I also love a good break. So, first thing is we're going to practice the pressure and things of doing leaves. So, I'm just going to grab any color green. Does not matter right now. We're just going to practice the motions. So, I have my brush. As you can see, it is like pretty much vertical. So you can practice this and just do some very light pressure and put it down and then bring it back up. So that is how I would do a leaf. If you were here for the last video, it's very similar to the way you do your petals. So you can just practice a short leaf. You can practice a long, skinny one. That's something you'd see on like a tulip. You can practice maybe like going over and then down. Just a bunch of different color or different shapes that you can do. But really, it's just light pressure in the beginning, push down your brush and move, and then bring it back up. So you can do that. So we're going to do like a little stem of leaves, and then we're going to add some colors in that look really, really pretty. So as always, I love to start with my lighter colors. So I'm actually going to do like a light green mixed with a yellow. Right? So first thing is I'm doing very light pressure and doing like a stem. And then at the top, I'm adding this leaf. Right? And then I'm going to add on here. So this is not a rule by any means, but if you are trying to get your leaves to look more organic and loose, try working with odd numbers. It's really easy to try to balance everything out, but a lot of times in landscapes, not everything is always balanced perfectly. So that is what makes it so pretty and beautiful, is when you have those random things that just are loose. So now that we have this and it's still wet, this is a really awesome time to drop in those colors that you want to. So I'm going to like add some of this more foresty green. With this palette, these greens can be kind of hard because they're more like vibrant blue toned. So if you are wanting to make your greens more neutral, what you're going to do is add the opposite side of the color palette. So in this case, you would add some red, and that will neutralize them, make them more foresty looking. And I'm just dropping some color in. Right? So I went straight to the dark colors. You can add like a medium shade in as well. Maybe I'll do that. Leaves are really pretty. You can add some blue into it too if you wanted to. This does not have to be perfect. You're kind of just messing around to see what you can make. If you have a little bit more water than you want, you have your paper towel right next to you. Just dab your brush off and then pick some of that liquid up. Take some control back. This is something that I had to do a lot when I was first starting, because water control is definitely a learned skill. So if you're like, I have puddles everywhere, or maybe you're someone that doesn't use enough water, give yourself some time, because you'll eventually pick it up and it'll come a lot more smooth. And it's very normal. When I first started, it was hard for me as well. So, and even now sometimes, like, I just had to pick up some water. Okay, so there is our leaves. If we are making a tree or a bush or anything, a lot of this is like putting our base layer down or our mid layer and then adding in some colors. So let's do, and sometimes it's easier if you can see I'm like making these colors before I start, so that if you're wanting to blend them together while everything's still wet, you have the colors ready to go, which is really helpful. So for a bush or leaves on a tree, we are going to go over trees in a different section, but it's the same type deal. So let's do, you're literally like doing these little dots. And as you can see, I'm kind of moving my brush all over, and that's because I point my brush in the direction I want my leaves to be pointing. You see that? And you can even like cover up a lot of it and just leave a tiny bit of white space as you go. And because it's a bush, this is where you can practice lighting. You can add some of the darker colors towards the bottom, right? And maybe you can add some of those lighter greens to the top. And it turns out like super beautiful when you see those colors coming together. Right? Maybe we'll put some yellow in there. Or actually, maybe we'll do some orange. See, that adds just a really fun touch to it. So that could be a first layer. You could let that dry, and maybe we'll come back and add a little bit more here in a little bit. So we have your leaves and your bushes. Now we're going to practice grass or like a field. So basically, if you wanted to, you could grab your brush and just have it wet and put it on your paper, right? And then you can bring in your greens and just very gently spread it across. And what's nice about this is grass is usually pretty, at least with fields, you don't do a lot of the details and things. So I have this, maybe we add some more vibrant colors as you get closer. You can just add those greens in wherever you want. You could even leave some white areas. Right? See how pretty? So we're going to let that dry, and then we'll do some more like close-up grass that you can work on as well. Okay, now that we've let this all dry, we can come back in and do just a little bit more details, and then maybe we'll add some grass onto this field. So, first thing, maybe we'll add some more leaves to this. Grabbing a little bit darker, and I'm doing the same type thing. just adding some This looks really pretty. You're adding just some really simple layers, and that adds just enough more depth to your bush. Maybe I'll add a little bit more of that orange that we originally grabbed. Pretty. Okay, so that's done. Now we're going to be doing some grass. First thing is I'm using very light pressure, and I'm just going like this, right? Barely noticeable at all. Then you can come in with your lighter colors. If you want, you can blend them in. Cool. So if you're wanting to add dimension to your greenery with these, something that's really fun to do is called a drag and drop. So basically, if you wanted to have some shading under here, bring it up, and you don't want that harsh line. Sometimes a harsh line is really pretty, but if you're not wanting that, you can clean your brush off and then drag that. And it just gives enough for that to just blend upwards. So you can try that on some of the leaves that you've already made. Usually in my greenery section, I will do pine trees, more of like a aspen tree, stuff like that. But we have a page just specifically for your trees. So this is all we're going to cover. If you have any more questions or things that you want to learn in the greenery section, definitely leave it in the comments because I would love to teach you some more. But thank you for following along, and we'll see you next time for some more practicing and outlines. And yeah, if you like this, definitely give me a follow. It means a lot. I love your support and grateful you're here.